Use it because I really love that, like the friend that cares about your growth more than your feelings.
Yeah,
That was it.
That was a word.
That's a line. Yeah, I'm gonna use that all the time. Someone actually said, I had someone help me write my mission statement. That's what she wrote about me. She was like, your friend that cares about your growth more than your feelings.
You should say that. That's your friend.
Yeah.
All right, so
It's your girl, Kadi.
Ask Kadi, the voice of reason. It's an advice show covering all kinds of topics that millennials face. That's my girl, Kadi C, the friend that cares more about your growth than your feelings.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Ask Kadi, the voice of reason, the friend that cares about your growth more than your feelings. And today, like always, I have a very exciting topic to talk about and questions to answer. Last episode, we got into more of the 9 to 5 and the passion thing. But another thing, because that's something that I kind of battled during the pandemic, but another thing I battled with that I feel like a lot of people battle with throughout the pandemic was relationships, specifically friendships. So this episode, I really want to talk about friendships because it's one of those sticky topics that we really don't know how to navigate as adults. And I think it's because as children, we're taught to determine our friends from the very inaccurate place. Like, friends are people you like, people you hang out with, people you play with. And I feel like as children, of course, going to school and things like that, our friendships are kind of forced. As a kid, you don't got a car. You don't really have the choice to go anywhere. You don't have a choice on where you live. You live wherever your parents reside or whoever's raising you reside. So your friends naturally become, those people who are naturally in your vicinity, the people who are at school with you. And because of that, we determine friendship through commonality and likeness and not really the things like we don't determine our friends based on who we need as far as the life that we're living. And that's when in adulthood, I feel like friendship is one of those challenging things because as you're growing into yourself and becoming your own person and creating a family and settling in career and just becoming your own self, you realize like, damn, I don't really get along with none of these people that I'm around right now. And it's a guilt that comes with that. And I think it was a struggle during the pandemic because the pandemic was one of the most vulnerable stages for a lot of people, whether you actually had family that experienced COVID or probably lost a family member through COVID, or just the simple fact of us being locked in the house and just being in a very sensitive mental space that, at least for me, the people I needed to be around, I didn't have the capacity I had before to just force interactions anymore. I don't think we even realized we were doing that in our everyday life. As far as work, you come to work and you have these small talks or with your friends, you find ways to connect with them just to have that bond. And it's not really things that you care about, but being stuck in the house and being forced in the house and forced within yourself, you don't really well, at least for me, I didn't have the patience to have the conversations of things I didn't care about. So it kind of pushed me and a lot of my friends apart because I just wasn't interacting with the friends that weren't in the space that I was in. You know what I'm saying? Or thinking about the things that I was thinking about. So I started off I realized that the idea I came up with, friendship being one of those things that we weren't taught to determine correctly at a young age. When I looked back at my childhood and thought about my first friend, right? I have 2 siblings. I never consider my siblings my friends. It's not until adulthood, which I'm going to talk about later, that I realized that, wow, my sisters are actually really my friends. These are the people I would choose in real life to be around me. But in kindergarten, my first friend I met this is how we became friends. So it was the first day of school and I was coming in and my mom saw her mom. And I think they used to work in the airport together. So I don't know, my mom, they're both African. So my mom was screaming, typical ghetto African mom, and just oh my God, it gave her a hug. And in typical Black nature, grabbed me look, this is your cousin. She's not my cousin, but her mom and my mom were clearly good friends at work. So when they saw that, oh my God, both of our kids are in the same class, they just made us introduce each other, introduce ourselves to each other and was this is your cousin and stuff like that. So it was awkward. We're just hi. And then after school, her name was Rosemary. She came up to me and was like, do you want to be my best friend? And I was like, okay. And there it was. We were best friends, and it was because a lot of people, we looked alike. I guess us both being African and dark skinned, we looked alike, and we were really, I don't know how smart you can be in kindergarten, but we were known for being smart. Like we were both very quiet. We were both very polite, and we looked alike. So people will always ask, like, are you guys twins? And then we'll be like, no, we're best friends. But when I look back at it, I made all my friends like that. People would just decide that they like me, and I'll be like, okay, we can be friends. And I think I never set real standards for friendship growing up. It was a lot of things I was going through at home. It was just like I never let my friends too deep into my real life. So it was no way for them to really show up for me as friends. I was the friend that, I know this is cliche, everyone says this, like I go out my way for friends, but I don't expect anyone to go out their way for me. I was genuinely that person. Like, it's not like I wouldn't even be mad. If you didn't show up to my birthday, I don't care. I'm definitely not those friends that care that like will cut you off because you didn't come to my birthday dinner. Like, I just will like, I just didn't have expectations. And now looking back, I realized it was because one of my biggest fears was disappointment. So I barely held high expectations for anyone. And friendship was really one of those things. But as I got older, and specifically going to college because I lived on campus, it became challenging because I realized in the school environment, which a lot of us make our friends, we're in school for 8 hours, right? So you're able to be I don't want to say your fake self, but your best self. In school, when we're in public, we're taught, you be nice. Like if you're going to be around people, like your mom had that speech with you, we're going here, you better behave, you better act this way. And in school, there was a set of rules that you had to follow as far as how you interact with your peers. So a lot of the friends that you made it with your best foot forward. Sorry, the chain, my bad. Sorry, my chain was making noises. But yeah, you put your best foot forward in school, whether it's like to follow the rules or because you want to be likable. As a kid, nobody wants to be that kid in school that no one likes. So if you find out people like you because you're funny or you're nice, you do more of that. You don't show all of you. You know what I'm saying? The side that home gets. When you're sad, you don't go to school crying and hoping for your friend to pick you up. You use it as a place to be your best healed self. And then you go home and release all of yourself. So when moving to campus or going to college was hard because I lived on campus. And I realized like when I got to college and you have to pick your roommate, they were like, okay, so what type of person you get along with? I get along with everyone because that was me in school. I got along with everyone. I never had any issues. I was really just such a flexible person. But for the people who live with me, no, I was a very specific person. Me and my sisters did not always get along. We fought a lot. I was a very sensitive person. I was very bossy. But in school, I didn't show that side of me. So when I got to campus and I had to live with other people and like realize there was never time for me to turn that switch off. Like going home was a way to turn that switch off when you're a kid. Like it's like, okay, school, fine, I'm going to be my best self. And then go home, you can be your full authentic self. And college was where that became a challenge because now I started to show more of my personality because it's like, all right, I can't be smiling at y'all all day. You're actually getting on my nerves. No, I don't want to hang with you. No, I just want to be locked in my room. No, I'm actually a quiet person. I know you guys are used to me being the class clown and the funny, happy-go-lucky, but there are times where I really just do not like to talk for 24 hours. And it became a place where I had to learn to balance those two things, like balance being a friend, but also being myself. And I think a lot of times the friend title would challenge the other because we expect our friends to be the people we choose. Like so we're selfish with friendship. Like there's people who actually don't want their friends to have other friends. But when I say selfish, your friend is your person. We use them to escape time. We use them to escape feelings. We use them to help us through moments. But then we often forget why they are playing that role of friend, that they are also living in their own world. We exist in their world just as much as they exist in ours. And we have to learn to like adjust to that. So that leads me to the number one question I hear people ask all the time is questions that I had to navigate myself. How do you handle growing apart from friends? It is such an uncomfortable experience that I don't think a lot of people talk about, because I don't care what type of person you think you are, how bold you are, how outspoken you are. When you first start to get that initial feeling of outgrowing a friend, it's guilt. I feel like guilt is that you don't want to call it, oh, you don't see it for what it is, like I'm outgrowing them. You feel bad because it's like, oh, this is my best friend. But when she calls, I don't really want to answer. Now she's inviting me places and I don't really want to go. Like, and it's like there's this guilt, like, damn, like, and you don't know how to talk to them about it, because it's like you feel like something's wrong with you. Like, how you switching up already? Like, I really don't want to hang with these people right now.
I agree with that, but for me, I'm the reverse. Like, I feel as if I'm reaching out to a friend and they're not reaching back. Like, they've outgrown me.
That's a two things. How do you handle outgrowing a friend, or how do you handle being the friend that been outgrown?
It's tough. It sucks all the way around.
You know what the main thing is with that codependency? Because what I had to learn, and could be for the other way around, that outgrowing a friend isn't always ending the friendship. And that's how I looked at it. If I no longer, let's say you had that friend that, oh, me and this girl, we used to go to the club all the time. This is my club friend. And then one day she invites me to the club and I'm going through a phase in my life where, this is not my thing anymore. I don't want a club. Some people will associate that, which is what I would do, is like, okay, I don't like clubbing anymore. She can't be my friend anymore. That's it. Friendship over. Because what we did was club together and all she does is care about clubbing and I don't care about that anymore. So no more friendship. So then you go through the phases of at least trying to cut that person off directly or indirectly, because then you stop answering calls. Now people like you being funny and now y'all got a beef and you don't even know where the beef stemmed from. So I think the main thing is, and to not take it personal when someone is outgrowing you, maybe don't want to hang out as much or going through their own thing, is to really eliminate codependency from friendship. On any level, like I think like we have to learn to experience people without trying to own them. And that is my weirdness about titles. I'm so weird about people referring to me as their best friend, because I realized throughout my life that when someone called me best friend, it was a way of them branding me as their slave. And not slave, like, no, they wasn't whipping me and forcing me to do stuff, but it's like this expectation. And I guess the middle child in me, I never voiced it like this because I'll talk about friendships that I've grown and we fell out. I really am a person that's hard on myself when I don't meet others' expectations, So I will be the friend where it's like, okay, yeah, you're my best friend. And it's like, yeah, you don't never answer when I call. I'm not the friend that kind of lean on friends when I'm going through things. Not because my friends are not good people to lean on. That's just me. I grew up in a house full of people. I'm a spiritual person. I like to sit, figure things out, pray about it. And then later we come together and we regroup like, yo, I was depressed as hell. Let me tell you what happened. I'm not the friend that speaks about things. I'm not the friend, the sister, the daughter that speaks about things while I'm in it. It doesn't work for me. So I think when it comes to like the codependency is just like, when someone gives you that title, there's a list of expectations with it. So then while you're existing in your world, like somebody could not answer your call because they're just going through something. But because you titled them friend, now every time they're not answering your call, it's like, yeah, there's Greg acting funny. Like he'll never. So that's the weird part that we got to kind of learn to hold back on. I think the codependency comes when we're using people to fill voids.
Yeah, I think you said something key too, like as far as not taking it personal. Mm-hmm. That's going to be difficult to do at the start because the person I'm talking about is someone that was my best friend. We went to college together. And now that we're in our adult life and I want to be more in his life, it seems as if he's just, and it hurts, but we both got lives.
Yeah.
He's doing his thing. I got a kid. I'm doing my thing. So I have to remember that when we come together, it's all love.
Yeah.
It's never like we missed a step, but it's hard.
That day to day, not.
It's hard to deal with the fact that, you live 15 minutes away and I don't
see you like that. It's like people, it's hard to navigate a relationship where you're still trying to navigate your own life. Like, and that's what I think that, you know, a lot of people say, like, if you're going through something, just let them know. And it's like, I'm trying to figure out how to let myself know what the heck I'm going through. I don't want to give myself the responsibility. I love my friends who just can understand when I don't answer a call for a week straight. And then just know to call me the 8th day and I might answer and have all you need. Like, I won't even, and we just don't bring it up. And this might be bad. A lot of people say that is toxic. I am that friend. Like, I love, like, when someone like calls me out, and I do think sometimes you do got to call people out, because I have friends who do, like, oh, Kadi, you don't never answer when I call. It does frustrate me though, because it's like, ugh, I do feel bad, but it's like, it's not personal. Like, I need you to know when things are not personal. Like, I don't want to be lifing right now. So it's just that, you know, I didn't think about you while I was thinking about whatever it is that I'm going through. So outgrowing friends, one, like I mentioned before, doesn't always mean the end of a friendship, is one that I had to learn. So like you said, not taking it personal when you see that distance. And sometimes it's just reminding yourself. Like, I've had to check friends like, oh, are you good? Did I do something? Because my inner Sag, I have ways of probably doing and saying things and so oblivious. Like, oh, I didn't even know this person was mad at me about this. Like, I didn't even think it was a big deal. So checking in, like, even if you check in like, hey, like, are you good? Oh, did I do something? No, you good. I'm just going through my stuff. Taking that for what it is. Cool. Like, give yourself, like, ask so you can have your peace of mind. Like, okay, it's not personal, but then don't demand more just because you're the best friend or because you spend so much time with me. Now that I know the reason it's not me, you got to sit down and tell me what's going on and why we don't hang every day. What it is so selfish in adulthood, because adulting is freaking hard. Okay. And like I said, people are trying to figure out life for themselves before they even figure out why, like, everything in their life that's changing, whether that be the friendships, the relationship, and things like that. So it's a learning lesson, but not taking it personal and not realizing it's not the end of the friendship. You got to take people. If I would call you a friend if all you do is we meet once every month and laugh at a TV show. You're my friend. No, you're not the friend that I call for advice. No, you're not the friend that shows up to help me move. No, you're not the friend, but you're my friend. And whatever experience I have with someone that helps me navigate through life, like this, oh, Greg, me and Greg don't talk every day. I don't know what's going on in his personal life. I don't know. But if I ever have, like, I need advice about something or podcasting, or I could call Greg. That's my friend. That is my friend. I'm never going to limit that title to how much someone has to provide in my life. Like, there's so much that people can provide to you that is a lot with being a little. So that's the main thing with friendship. But in reality, in all situations, it's not always outgrowing the friend. It is ending a friendship. And I'm trying to think friendships that I've ended. I don't know if I'm a forgiving person. As long as we talk about it. Now, when we talk about it, you might not want to be my friend afterwards, because I ain't going to hold back. Like, once you get me to a point where I'm upset, or you've done, not even upset, betrayed me or hurt me, you're going to hear it. And you're going to hear the truth of it. And at this point, once my feelings involved, your feelings don't matter. I only know how to pick my words when my feelings are not involved. Like, it's just like, oh, okay, well, you know how you talk to a kid. You just like, you find the right words and you don't hurt the feelings. Once you get my feelings involved, where I feel like you betrayed me or you hurt me, you disappointed me, now, okay, your feelings don't matter. And it doesn't mean that I'm going to intentionally hurt you, like now start cursing you out, or I'm going to tell you the truth. You know how certain things we hold back in friendship just to maintain the friendship? Like, I ain't even going to tell this about that, because I already know it's going to make her feel, all those things are going to come out. And now after that, it's your choice whether you want to be my friend again or not. But once I get it out, I'm good. Okay, once I get it out and I get that you understand where I'm coming from. But I've had situations where I had to end friendships, and I've done it the quote unquote toxic way, where it's like there's not a real conversation. And I had to learn the difference of when someone do something wrong to you because they were unaware, and when someone does something wrong to you because it's their character. And I try not to get into the whirlwind people get into of trying to change someone's character. So if someone does something to me, like, for example, it's like I have my foot out here and Greg, you step on my foot. I can say, yo, Greg, you stepped on my foot. That hurt. Watch where you going. That's a fixable situation. That's like someone learning you. Like that's in any relationship. I don't care how much you think you know somebody, you're always learning somebody. So a friend could say a joke and it's like, bro, too far. Please don't say that to me again. It's another thing where a friend comes in and every time we're around people, I'm dogging you. Oh, look great. Look how Greg dressed. Every time I go somewhere, they always have something belittling to say about you. Or this person chooses a perspective of you that is belittling or like whatever. That's character. And whenever I realize that someone's character is something that I can't get jiggy with, specifically in friendship, you won't get a warning. You won't hear from me again. Not because I'm that hurt that I don't want to give you that. It's just I've my energy, and two, I learned what I needed to know. Now I have the choice. Once you learn someone's character, the ball is in your court. What do you want with that? Because you can't go in and this not electrician school where you can rewire someone. Like you have to actually understand that these, just like in friendship, you accept your friends who you are, accept people as they are, and do what you want to do with that information. So I've been in friendships where I've seen people for fully who they are, not just from a moment, but a moment that triggered me to take inventory of so many other moments that I overlooked. And I'm like, yeah, nah, this not going to work. And I just let the friendship dwindle out. Now, if the person keep prying, like, you'll know when I'm not messing with you no more, because then it's like, I'm not answering your calls. You know, the friendships like that don't even have a solid foundation. So when it dwindles out, it just happens organically. It's just like, all right, yeah, I saw this about this person I don't really like. Then next thing you know, you're not answering their call. They might not start calling you back either. And it's like, we both knew what it was. It was a dub. Like, this friendship was over. But if the person keeps prying, then it's that moment where you got to have that honest conversation. Like, oh, okay, you want to know? Yeah, I think you're a messed up person. And I don't want to be around that. Like, now, if you want to say something back that can convince me that you're not that person, I'm open to that. But if I'm not convinced, we're going to have the conversation. The friendship is still going to end where it's at. We talk about ending the friendship. Another thing is really making friends as an adult. Because my adult friends, when I tell you, has changed my life. The friends that I have made in the span of 5 or less years have impacted my life way more than people I've known for decades. And the importance of making adult friendship, I think people don't understand. All that day one stuff, y'all can keep that, okay? My day twos done came through, okay? My day twos have increased salaries. My day twos have put me in rooms that I couldn't be in. My day twos have gave me experiences. My day twos have helped me navigate my father's sudden death. Like, I've cried with friends that I met in one day and couldn't shed a tear with people that I've known for 20 years. Like, those day twos are the biggest blessings ever. And I feel like making friends in adulthood is so organic, even way more organic than the friends we made 10, 20 years ago. Like, because most of those friends, we just so happen to be in the same class. And it's just like, hey, I like your shoes. I like your shoes. But my day twos, I met you on the first day. We talking about deep stuff. Like, we share relationship issues. Most of my day twos I met from work. So you spend the 8 hours at work. Now we getting in each other's business. We talking about our lives. And my mindset is always, you don't know nobody that know me. So I'm going to tell you more than I'm going to tell my homegirl that knew me forever. Because then she going to go talk about it with somebody else that know me. And she going to know the person that I'm talking about. And so I share all my business with people at work. And then we just have honest moments where we will like cry together. Like when my dad suddenly passed from congestive heart failure in 2014. And how I dealt with his death is that I didn't. My dad raised me and my sisters as a single parent. So literally, he was the only parent in the household, and he just passed away like that. And I had just started a new job. And they only gave me 2 days off. And honestly, I wanted to continue to go to work. Why? Because I didn't want to deal. I had people in my house, relatives I didn't see forever. My dad's body ended up getting shipped to Africa, so I just went back to work. And everyone's, they heard that my dad passed. They sent me an email, and I came back to work. I'm good. 9 to 1 o'clock, I'm good. 2 to 3, I'm sobbing at my desk, like sobbing. Like these people literally snot dripping down my nose, just like literally. I worked in a doctor's office, so someone called and they had the same birth year as my dad. Anybody who went through a grieving process, you know how grief works. It's like numb, then it's just like one random day someone has the same color as them and you're just bawling. But the way that those friends at that job that I only met, I wouldn't even say they were friends at the time. I was only at the job for like a month, but it was the area I sat at, and we were all the same age, and I used to crack jokes with them. And I just started crying, and they were like, how closely they just tied to that. And they're like, are you okay? And like, not just the typical, are you okay? Like, they just knew, like, I would go, and then for weeks, I would come to work. I have an hour crying. They'll know, okay, Kadi crying. And then when I get it together, 3:00, we back joking. And they just got it. Like, the same way I learned to use my sisters as a mark as friendship. Because like I said before, I never considered my sisters friends, because it's like, we fought a lot, and we didn't really share our personal business. But those are my friends, because I realized the true definition of friend is the people that you do not have to be friendly with. The ones you don't have to put your best foot forward. The people that don't even need to know the full details of what's going on and still show up. And those were my friends at work. They didn't necessarily come in and say, oh, Kadi, how are you feeling about your dad today? They'll let me they'll let me crack jokes, and then they'll let me cry, take a moment, and they'll come back and let me be me again. Like, there was never no need to explain. There was never no need, excuse me, I'm so sorry. I didn't have to debrief with them and let them know what happened and why I went from being angry. I came in moments and didn't want to talk to no one. They'll let me be. Kadi, all right, Kadi, not social today. She's not really talking. Then 3:00, if I decide to talk to y'all again, they jump. Okay, we talking again. And I have certain friends, when I'm not my best self, I have to explain to y'all what's going on. Or why you usually be laughing with me when you came in, you wasn't. Those are not friends to me.
Yeah, the other ones were nothing personal.
Nothing personal. I can exist. I can literally exist as the human that I am, of highs and lows, and you naturally adjust to it as it should be, with no need for explanation, no need for a debrief about what happened, no need for me to pre-plan, like, hey, I'm about to cry, and I'm about to not talk to you for 10 minutes, but let me just give you a heads up. Like, you just get it. Like, how they say, the people that get it, and those who don't, the ones that don't. But yeah, I've learned to use that as a mark for friendship. So making friendships in adulthood is really, to make friends in adulthood, it requires you to operate in your real self. Because I've made friends without even knowing that I was making friends. I never went out in adulthood like, hey, let's go make a friend today. It's just existing as me. So at work, if I'm there for 8 hours a day, you're going to get the real me. I've learned that from being in college. Like, that whole childhood thing of putting your best foot forward. Oh, my friend, I be nice with you. We share. That don't work in real adult friendship. If you're a stingy person of friendships, they need to know that. In school, they force you to be one way. Some people are just stingy. I don't like to share. It's not that they're mean. This is my personality. And you're going to meet the friends that understand that, and y'all going to be friends. But once I got to college and learned that I had to, like, not learn, but learn to be more comfortable organic as being my organic self all the time around people, adulthood, making friends was easy because I was myself. I didn't adjust my opinions. I didn't adjust my personality, whether that be in the workplace, whether that be in the club, whether that be I just so happen to be at ShopRite and see somebody. Like, and I think making friends in adulthood is not as complicated. Y'all just need to get over the idea that your friends are the people that got to know you forever, because you don't even know you forever. You don't know who you are. So why would you determine friendship off of time where you've been with you're the only one that's been with yourself forever and don't even know who you are? There is not a person, I don't care if you knew them since birth, they don't know you. They don't know you like that. Don't nobody know you like that. The person who knew you in kindergarten don't know you like that person that you met 10 minutes ago. And because they don't have any prejudgment of you, they don't have any expectation of you, you're operating more in your real self around them than you are with the people that you know forever, because they already boxed you into a role that you can't play yourself out of. So making friends in adulthood is really about operating in yourself and, one, removing the codependency. Because when you do have a codependency, only is supposed to be towards your parents. So if you have that nature towards friendship, then that's when familiarity is the key to friendship. And honestly, it could be the key to being comfortable, but it's not the key to a good friendship. I can be comfortable with you and you can be bad for me. I could be comfortable with my friend that sell drugs and kill people because I knew him forever, but that doesn't mean that that's a quality friendship. So being familiar with someone should not be the key to making and determining your friend as an adult. 1. Knowing when you're the toxic friend. I feel like we're gonna go a little over this one, but that's fine. The toxic friend. How do you know if you're the toxic friend? I think we're all toxic friends at one point in our lives. What do we even consider toxic? What would you say your toxic friend quality is as a friend, Greg?
Loyalty. If you're not loyal,
Like for you though,
for me,
what would you say your friends? What would you think or say your friends would say is your toxic trait as a
my
friend?
toxic trait.
As a friend.
I guess I can be selfish. For sure.
I get that a lot.
My friend just got a new job where he's traveling. Eats me up. Because I just want access to him all the time.
What's your sign?
Aquarius.
Oh, I know that. My daughter's an Aquarius. She is so like that to me. Y'all are toxic. But that is. Craig, do you have any toxic traits your friend was your friends? Patient.
Lack of patience sometimes.
I think I get that too. I think one of my main toxic qualities that I've heard over and over again, my friends, one, I'm too friendly. I'm a whole friend. And I tend to attract friends who don't like other people. Yeah. Or they just don't like people. Like I love, you know why? Because I love the person in the corner that everyone hates. So those are usually the people that become good friends of mine. Like, oh, everyone's like, I don't like her. Oh, good. Let me go see. Like, because I just love studying people. So it's just like, no one can like turn me away from people. But these are also the people that don't like people. And because I'm a people's person, it's like you have to share my time with my other friends. So that's usually an issue because I'm the friend that often becomes friends with two enemies. And try to bring them together. I'm not the friend that's friends with two enemies and be like, oh, I'm on your side, I'm on your side. I find a way to be like, I like both of y'all. Y'all gotta like each other. Come on, kumbaya. And everyone's like, I don't like this. I hate when you do that. Like, I've had to learn to respect people's, just like who they are. Like, I always used to think if I'm this way, like if they like me, they gotta like you. Like, I'm the friend that brings my friends to things you invite me to. Like, you're my friend, I like you, and they like me, so they should like you. And then they come to you and they was like, I like you, but don't bring that friend anymore. I don't like her.
You're the glue in that sense.
Yeah. So I always try to bring people together. And it's because I really don't be thinking shit is that deep. But I've had to learn. And it's because I'm a sensitive person, but the things that I care about is not what people really think too deep into. Like, what? You don't like her? Like somebody would like walk in with a loud personality. I don't like them because they're loud. And I would not justify your reason because to me, that's not nothing that's that deep. So I had to learn to accept people for what it is that their boundaries are and what they don't like. So it's been like gritting teeth because I always, like I said, invite people to like other people's events. But I'm like, oh, okay, they invited me. Let me not invite this other person. Another toxic trait of mine is just I'm not the friend that will call you if you go MIA. And it's because I'm a person who, when I go MIA, growing up with immigrant parents, being a middle child and having to be an adult at a very young age. I have this a strength that is extremely toxic when it comes to relationships with people is that I just think that people got it figured out because I lived a life where I always had to have it figured out. So when people didn't want to be bothered, I always thought it was a conscious decision. Like if I choose to never talk to anyone, trust me, I'm not drowning anywhere. It's a choice. Like I'm okay. I'm figuring it out. I'm like overly independent. And I had to learn to stop and learn my friends outside of who I am. You know what I'm saying? And this is something I had to learn after becoming a mom because I also have to learn, I don't want to be one of those moms that's like, I'm this way, so you got to think like this with my daughter. So trying to unlearn that from my daughter has made me be more aware of that in my adult friendships. Where I'm just like, okay, this friend might be the friend who's, when they're MIA, they are looking for someone to reach out for help or like check in on them, you know? So that's a toxic trait of mine. And I try to be approachable, like as far as my friends coming to me and letting me know what I've done wrong, but I'm also very combative. And it's because I hate to hurt others' feelings. And to me, because I don't ever do anything with any intentional malice, that's the part I stick to for so long. But I did that because I thought you didn't want to be bothered. And it's like they're telling me, no, I felt like you weren't reaching out to me. And me just trying to defend myself because it hurts to hurt people that I love. that I don't even get a chance to really hear them.
You're defensive because of how they feel. And it shouldn't work like that.
Exactly. It's a learning process because I'm still not there. But just to even wrap it up with adult friendship, because we're coming down to the close, being just kind of learning what you need and also learning what other needs, because friendship is a contract in a sense. I've learned that when you do come in friendship with someone, that you're signing an invisible contract and you need to know what you're signing. Because, and you'll learn that as the friendship progresses. Like, I've had the friends that I fell out with, when I really sat in outside of the argument, outside of the disagreement, and sat with myself and say, what is this person really asking of me? And when I figured out what it was, can I deliver that? And those answers where those friendships no longer exist, I couldn't. I cannot be that. Like, I had a friend who literally told me, I feel like you don't show up for me. And this was a person I consider my number one. Like, you were the priority person I showed up for. Or like, I feel like you didn't care when, I had a friend who always had boy problems, right? And I just will be real with her, like, because I'm just not a boy crazy person. And she's a boy crazy person. And it wasn't until I had a conversation with my mom and my sisters, because not that they're boy crazy, but I'm really like a black sheep when it comes to female situations, because a lot of people refer to me like as manly. I'm not a tomboy, but I have a very male personality, and it's because I was closer to my dad. So I am even in my relationships with my mom, my sisters, I am the logic of them. Like, that doesn't make any sense. I know we're going to go a little over. That doesn't make any sense. Like, no, you need to be this. And a lot of people couldn't handle that in friendship. When I say my sisters, they hate it. Like, they're like, you think you know it all. You hurt my feelings. But they will always call me and be like, thank you so much for like telling me that I understand where you're coming from. And that's my tribe. So the people who couldn't, like when the friend who was boy crazy, and I'm like, look, you were just in love 2 weeks ago. You in love again. Like, no, we're not about to sit here and cry over this boy. You need to suck it up. And then that made me an insensitive friend. When I sat in it, it's like, damn, okay, I didn't want to come off as insensitive, but I would never be the friend that coddle you through boy problems. I'm not gonna knock you for having them. But if you looking for a friend in me, you looking for the friend that's gonna be like, get your ass up, get it together. That's the only advice. And if that does not work for you, this contract, we have to breach this contract, because I'm always going to be a bad friend. You never want to put yourself in a situation where you're going to always be the bad friend. Because regardless if you don't have any intentional malice, signing, like I said, coming into friendship with someone is signing a contract. So when you say you're this person's friend, make sure you understand what they're asking and what they expect of the friendship. And then be true to yourself. And if you have a friend that's always want to talk on the phone, I don't care to talk on the phone. But if this person says, oh, I'm a bad friend because I don't talk on the phone, we're going to have to breach this contract. I'm not the friend for you. Those are the real honest conversations you have to have with yourself. But just finding the friends, one, that is for you. Also, making new friends are important. I hear a lot of people, I just want to end it off with this one main thing that made me come up with this topic. Someone said, oh, I like to travel, but none of my friends travel. They never want to travel. Every time we make plans, then you don't like to travel. Because I feel like as an adult, the things you like, you naturally going to have friends around you. Not every single friend, but you're going to have friends around you that speak to that. I like watching Animal Planet. Sometimes I would just watch the Animal Planet or Natural Disasters for hours. When I tell you I have a friend, we can, from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. at night, we can just sit in the house and watch tornado videos and not talk to each other. That's my tornado watching friend. We'll watch videos on plane crash. Like, that's weird stuff I like to do in my time off, and she loves that. I have a friend, when it comes to spirituality, like, we'll call each other like, God just gave me a word, and we'll like, it's this weird thing. Like, my daughter's father laugh about it all the time. Like, all right, you having your deep moment, call Nisa. That's your friend for that, because we have like moments like that. If you say you like something and you don't have friends in your circle that speaks to that, then either you're not operating in your true self, or you need to go out and make real friends. You're real friends. Because if you're making the right friends, you're going to have friends that are natural reflections with not like being exactly like you, but y'all connect in a certain way. So I'll leave it off like that. I want to thank you guys so much. But before I even leave off, we got to shout out someone who left a review. I try to do that every episode. And This other comment I got from Noodle Food. She wrote, "Keep up the good work, Kadi. I just started listening to the podcast and I feel like you're the big sister I never had, dropping gems all over the place. Thank you." I really appreciate that. Thank you so much, guys. Continue to leave comments. Continue to get people to subscribe. Make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel and follow the Instagram page. And I'll catch you guys on the next episode. Bye.
That's my girl, Kadi C, the friend that cares more about your growth than your feelings.